remainder of this, which is really the meat. So here we go. Now we're recording. Okay, so let's say you do find an opportunity. Let's talk about how to build your very own GovCon opportunity pipeline. Our key question: what tools and resources can you leverage to develop and maintain an opportunity pipeline? So let's go through that right now. Your GovShop supplier dashboard, frankly, that's the tool. I mean, that is the place you start to build a viable government opportunity pipeline. And the dashboard is free. You sign up as a supplier, as I think you all have. If you have your GovShop profile, you should be introduced to this dashboard. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to show you mine. This is my GovShop opportunity dashboard. Now, again, I have an Accelerator subscription to demonstrate this, but I think there's a lot of really good features in here that you get right out of the box. So you can see I'm following 4 opportunities. I have some saved lists. These are market research lists or customer lists that I've been looking at. And I'm currently programmed to pull opportunities for 8 keywords. So GovShop will suggest opportunities for me. Here are some personal protective equipment opportunities that we've been tracking for some clients. And so GovShop's really like making it very easy for me just to scroll through. And look, again, a lot of these are federal opportunities that are pulled from sam.gov, betasam.gov, but a lot of these are state and local opportunities. And that's an advantage of GovShop's opportunity matching as we go beyond just the federal opportunities, and we'll pull in state, local opportunities that our team curates specifically for our Accelerator subscribers. Now, this is a really powerful function here, the followed opportunities. So when I find an opportunity that I'm interested in GovShop, I can follow it. All of my followed opportunities will show up here. Now, if you click this little pencil button, you can see and basically curate and groom your list. So some of these things, are old, and I might not want to follow them anymore. Like this one particularly, response date was January 29th. So I'm not interested in that anymore. I can stop following that. But this opportunity, which we'll talk about in a second, is something that I'm interested in, as this might be as well. If you want to add keywords to your profile, maybe you're interested in, staffing, contract staffing services, I can add that keyword. And now GovShop's going to recommend and curate opportunities in contract staffing for me. Let's say you're a local business and you want to do business, find business opportunities in your state or locality. You can add a location here. Following suppliers, another really important thing, because I think early on in the bootcamp, maybe it was week 4, we talked about how important teaming and subcontracting is. Now, if you're a brand new government contracting business and you haven't won a lot of work yet, past performance can be an issue for you. So that's why we recommend looking for prime contractors that offer what you want to offer and reaching out to them. Maybe they'd be a mentor for you, or maybe you could be a protege firm. Maybe they have some work that they need to subcontract down. Maybe you have a socioeconomic designation that they don't have, and they'd be interested in teaming with you to get that evaluation credit. So finding contractors on GovShop that are more mature or maybe further on their journey is another really valuable feature. And we definitely recommend following suppliers and creating lists of suppliers that you want to reach out to. You can see each one of these, companies. Like this is Agile Trailblazers, a company that I'm a real big fan of. They're a great Agile digital services company. And, I can read about what they do. I can reach out to any of their, contracting professionals, or I'm sorry, their points of contact, and introduce myself. Maybe I want to send a capability statement over there. They might have some need for, subcontracting or other services. I can see the product service codes that they rank for. Hint, hint, if you haven't filled out your GovShop profile, or you're looking for more PSC codes to add, find companies that are like yours and see what PSC codes they are listing, and maybe consider adding those as well. So again, really good thing to do is to build those supplier lists so you'll know and have an opportunity to, build relationships in this space, because it is a relationship game. I also have saved searches. So these are opportunities that I've been looking at. Digital services is one of them. This is my saved search for digital services. And I added engineering digital courseware because let's just hypothetically say I have some training content that I want to deliver. And so I want to see what opportunities exist for digital services and engineering. So again, Here's one, and I'm following this, but there might be others. Strategic communications and digital services, that might be interesting to me. But I am very interested in this one in particular. So when I want to look at an opportunity, I can just click right in. It'll open up a new tab, and I can learn about what this business is looking for. So what I want to show here again, because after you find an opportunity and you qualified it, you're going to have to do something called a compliance matrix. But before we get in on that, let's take a look inside a solicitation, because it's really, there are so many of these, and it's just kind of, an art, right? Or a practice area that you need to develop. How can you get good at reviewing solicitations? So let's look at some key things. First of all, we know who's issuing this. This is the Department of Defense Education Activity. We can learn a little bit more about what it is. It's a digital courseware for 2-year-long high school level engineering and technology courses. Okay, hypothetically, let's just say my firm has that type of capability and I want to sell it to the government. So I can see this was issued just a few days ago, March 22nd. And there's a nice long response date. That's about 4 weeks. That tells me right there that this is not likely to be wired for another contractor. You'll hear a lot of times, people in industry say, oh, that opportunity, that's wired for the incumbent, or that's wired for, another firm that's really on top of this. Typically, if a opportunity is wired, you're not going to see 4 weeks of response. You might see 10 days or 5 days or something like that. Amanda, have you found that to be true?
I completely agree with that. There's going to be a quicker turnaround time if there's already someone in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see this is a solicitation. We can see the points of contact that they've listed. Here are the downloadables. I'm going to jump into those in a second. But again, down here, there's the related commodity codes, product service code and NAICS code. And that's why, again, really important to have these PSC codes and NAICS codes in your GovShop profile, because that helps our machine learning algorithm match you with opportunities that are in your wheelhouse. Okay, so in the downloadables, these are the solicitation documents. Anytime I see an Excel sheet, I'll typically look at that first, because that's going to tell me about pricing. Here is the download. This is the Excel sheet that you would download if you click that button. And I want to look at this because I got to see, first of all, like, what's the size of this thing? What's the scope? Do I really have what it takes to deliver this? So I can see here, CLIN 1, that's contract line item 1. That's the engineering digital courseware. So they're going to buy that firm fixed price. That's what FFP means. So the unit of issue is each. That basically means when I quote, I'm quoting what each course costs. They want to buy 4,000 of these. So let's just say my class was $100 each. So that's a $400,000 line item. Okay. That's a big deal. But if you're selling courseware and it's just, a digital download, you've developed it once. So maybe it's not a big deal to deliver 4,000 of these, but there's other things as well. There's some additional design and development of individual courseware. There's teacher materials, technical support, product training. And then you see this contract has option years for technical support. As I'm reading this in the shoes of a small business owner, I have to ask myself, like, can I deliver 12 months of technical support? Do I have a resource for this? Can I provide 12 months worth of product training? Do I have this priced? Okay. So really important pre-qualification technique is to look at the pricing schedule and really be honest with yourself. Like, can you do this? Is this in your wheelhouse? Let's say for the purpose of illustration that we're good. We can do this. We have no problem with it. Our next step is going to be looking at the solicitation itself. Okay. And here it is. Let me just jump back to the top. Okay. So this is a 75-page document. Just as a fun thing, it does say draft. This is not a draft solicitation. This is just a situation where the contracting professional didn't update the 1449. I imagine we'll see an amendment on this, updating this draft solicitation to, say a real solicitation, but that's just part of the fun of being in GovCon. I know it's real, by the way, because every one of GovShop's opportunity profiles will link to the betasam.gov or the actual system of record where the government issued it. Here it is, engineering digital services on sam.gov. By the way, compare this page to the GovShop opportunity page. We really take the time to make the user experience better. And I don't want to speak ill of betasam.gov, but it's just not as easy to review this as it is to look at the GovShop, snapshot. But we know it's live, it's active. It is, has been published. The offers are due on the 20th. So we just have to ignore this big draft watermark here and just chalk that up to the game. Okay. So again, a few things we can see in here that are really important and I want to call out. Number one, this is unrestricted. Okay. So that means if you're a small business, you might be competing in this against some pretty large training vendors, like maybe Learning Tree or Management Concepts or any of these large training vendors. I'm not saying that doesn't mean you can't win, but I'm saying you're going to be competing against, any industry, any company out there. If it was set aside maybe for a small business or a socioeconomic concern, you would see an X in this box, and then you would see which socioeconomic criteria it was set apart for. A few other things I like to look at here. We see the method of solicitation is a request for quote. Now that's good. That's good. An RFQ typically means that it's not going to be as formal of a proposal process as we might see in requests for proposal. Now that also means that my response when I submit this will be a quotation. A quotation is not a formal offer. So there's some advanced implications here that we'll talk about if you sign up for our masterclass, but it's just kind of good to understand that this is a RFQ. That means it's a simplified acquisition technique. This is also a contract form 1449, which the government uses for commercial items. So it's another tip to me to know, okay, they're looking to buy some commercial off-the-shelf, already developed product. Amanda, are there other things that you look at when you look at a standard form that you can kind of extract information from?
I do. I try to look for any supply chain information, delivery details, especially if your firm isn't fluent with supply chain management, you're going to want to pay closer attention to that. You might have to factor that into the cost of your product as well.
That's a great point, especially on hard goods. Typically, you want to know, like, where does it get shipped to? There might be a box about like FOB destination or origin. There could be inspection techniques. So again, there's a lot that a professional business developer can glean from the 1449. And you just got to practice as you get smarter. As you see more of these things, you'll start to pick it up. See, there's that delivery for FOB destination, unless it's checked, and any discount terms. So again, delivery, like, you got to pay attention to these things. All right, let's move on. So page 3 of this is the continuation. Typically, every standard form, solicitation form will have, continuation sheets. In this case, there's 72 of them. So this is literally just a rehash of the CLIN schedule that I showed you earlier. Gives you a little bit more information maybe, but it's not a very useful layout, and it's a bunch of pages. We already looked at that. We already said, yeah, we can do this. So we're going to skip these rather fast. One thing I do want to call out is that the government will inspect items before they accept them. And so you want to know how that is. So in this case, once you deliver, they're going to inspect the items at the point of destination. So if this was a product delivery, like let's say it's a shipment of N95 masks, they might inspect, at the point of destination. Sometimes they might require a sample. It's just solicitation by solicitation. All right. Again, here's our period of performance. Now, this is an important thing. So, Amanda, we talked about this when we were prepping, but notice here the period of performance for this contract is May 7th, 2021 to May of 2026, a base year plus 5 option years. Now, what's really kind of, sticking out to me and giving me a little pause is the response date is April 20th, and the period of performance starts on May 7th. Now, that's 3 weeks, and change, but government can take some time. I mean, how confident, Amanda, would you be that this contract would be ready to start on May 7th if they're receiving proposals on the 20th of April?
I feel like they may extend it, but bidding on this, I would want to make sure that that lead time was enough to perform just in case.
Absolutely. And that's a go, no go factor. That is an absolute go, no go factor. If you are hesitant about, man, I don't know if I can get this together in time, from my point of submission to point of award, sometimes these things do stick to schedule. And if you're not confident that you can turn it around in 3 weeks and get it ready and packaged to go, you might have to pass on this. And that's no fun. But again, it's important that we eliminate opportunities that we aren't 100% confident in, because there are going to be better fits out there. There are going to be new opportunities. So that's period of performance, and good to know that. Okay, now we get into the legalese. So you see all these clauses incorporated by reference. Like each of these is like 2 to 3 pages of just legal head-splitting language. You can't read all this. You can't, and you shouldn't. Now, should you, when you go in to submit your bid? Yeah, you probably should read these if you're not familiar with them, or have an attorney read these, but you don't want to do that until you've fully validated that you're going to chase this opportunity, which we have not done yet. There's going to be a lot more clauses. As we skim, we're just seeing clause after clause after clause after clause. So I'm going to fast forward to a couple of clauses that would catch my attention. Number one, and actually starts on page 23. It starts on page 20, the instructions to offers. Now, every commercial item contract will have a standard clause for instructions to offers for commercial items. You read this and just kind of understand what it is, but most agencies will append this with additional instructions to offers. This is our next place where we're going to validate whether this really is a good opportunity for us. So you can see, in addition to what you have to, submit up above, they have specific instructions for what they want you to do. Submit quotes, that have an administrative cover letter with all this information. You can't leave any of these out. These are required. You leave one of these things out, they could toss your opportunity due to non-compliance. And trust me, I'm a former contracting officer. Reviewing 20 proposals is no fun. They want to eliminate non-compliant proposals because that means they have to read fewer of them. Do not give them a reason to eliminate you for something silly like forgetting to complete a questionnaire. There are technical requirements for this. So we're going to read the performance work statement. This is one of the main types of government requirements documents that we talked about in the boot camp. But this wants a technical volume that shall not exceed 15 pages in length. You can't exceed that, but you can provide links to demos. Okay. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't let you externally link, but in this case they will. Okay. So again, we're not going to get too worried about that yet because we're still in validation phase. We want to look at factor 2, which is past performance. So this is where a lot of times we get hung up. Now, this is saying your quote has to include at least 1 and not more than 3 projects that demonstrate recent and relevant past performance. Amanda, we deal with this a lot. Recent and relevant past performance can mean a lot of things. And I think small business owners really get tripped up here saying, oh, I don't have the past performance, but you can be pretty creative with this, right?
You can get crafty. Sometimes even some of your past clients, the end user, could have been in some way related to maybe a school district or a local government entity. And that can be considered past performance until you can get some more subcontracting or even prime contracting opportunities under your belt.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now, the government always prefers federal past performance, but it's just not practical that everybody would have it. So you can get creative. And if you have a team like Amanda and myself in your corner helping you through this, we can read between the lines and kind of help you determine, yeah, these past performance, experience requirements that you have or what you've done in the past, we believe we can spin the narrative correctly to at least qualify you here. So it's a good criteria to consider. If you really have nothing, and this is an unrestricted, full and open competition, you might not have a really good chance at winning. Your P-win might be really small. And so you may want to skip this one. Price is always an issue too. You got to look at that. And, you're reading this relatively closely. If you have questions, you got to know that these questions are due. wow. In this case, they're saying they're due no later than April 20th, which is the submission date. I very much now anticipate that this would be extended because it's unlikely that they're going to receive questions and respond to all those questions in time for, for vendors to make a change. So, man, I mean, this is actually interesting because this says April 2020. So again, likely that this contract probably was set to go last year. It probably got delayed by the pandemic, and they just haven't updated enough things here. So fully expect to see an amendment come out on this, but we can't bank on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I would anticipate an amendment as soon as someone catches that question date.
Yeah, precisely. Okay, so I want to speed on here a little bit and just look at the evaluation criteria. Like if you got through that instructions offer, you're still feeling like you really want to go after this and you can get it. Your evaluation factor is kind of the next thing you're going to read, because again, you want to know like, all right, this is how the government's going to evaluate. One of the key principles fundamental to government contracting is that government needs to provide a fair opportunity for all qualifying firms. And the way they do that is they're really explicit in how they'll evaluate. And so if you read through the evaluation factors and believe that, you can meet how they describe past performance or how they want to review the technical volume or how they're going to look at price, that's kind of your next hurdle to making that go-no decision. Now let's keep skimming because there's a lot of clauses left. This, by the way, offer reps inserts. If you've done your SAM.gov profile, you should already have most of this information available. And so that's why we started the bootcamp by saying, get your SAM.gov profile done. All right, so I want to skip down because I know this is, again, all of these are just like clause. Oh my gosh, your eyes are bleeding with these clauses. You can't read them all until you made a decision to go after this because it's just not worth your effort. Now we do get down here to, finally, page 65. This is the performance work statement. You've gone through all of this so far, and we did it in like 20 minutes. You can do it that quickly when you get up to speed, but initially, I do think it makes sense to have government contracting experts like Amanda and myself in your corner because we can do this a lot quicker than you can, but we'll teach you how to do that through the sort of program that comes after this. Once you've gotten to this point and you still haven't seen anything that eliminates you or that flags you or it gives you significant pause, if you still feel good, then spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes reading this performance work statement closely and comparing it against whatever offer or item that you have that you think would suffice or satisfy this government customer requirement. And then you're going to read through and make sure that it actually does. So you see what we've done here. A lot of people would skip right to the performance work statement and read that and get excited and be like, yes, I could do this. Awesome. And then they get into it, and maybe like after they've already got somebody working on a response or after they've already, gotten your hopes up and you've gotten emotional and you want to win this. And then you see the past performance requirement, or then you see the fact that this would start on May 7th. You see, and then you kind of set yourself up for a real sad day when you realize you can't do it. So that's why we say don't look at that scope statement until you've done this sort of pre-qualification methodology. And then read these. This is good. I actually read this as a really good performance work statement. I like performance work statements. But again, don't spend that time until you've done the pre-qualification. Anything to add on that, Amanda?
No, you nailed it.
Well, thank you. I had some practice and some help, so I appreciate that. All right. So let's say we're going to go after this engineering bid. The next thing you do, and this is just part of the game, is you got to build a compliance matrix. And that gives me a chance to stop talking for a minute and take a sip of water because I'm going to kick it over to Amanda. She's going to walk you through what a compliance matrix actually looks like.
Yes. So preparing for your bid submission can be just as important as preparing for the bid proposal itself. So this is an example of a compliance matrix. It was more of a solicitation breakdown for another client. You'll see we list everything in here. I take that 85-page solicitation and I break it down into everything you need to do in order of importance. So are there certification forms that need to be filled out? Do documents have to be notarized? We'll include any registration links and also order specs, typically will include those as well. So everything is in one spot. So you're able to manage not only your compliance, but it can set you up for success. Make sure none of the information in that 80-page solicitation was missed.
So this is really important work. I mean, you got to have somebody in your corner that's done this and that knows what to look for, because if you're relatively new to government contract, there's a really good chance you're going to miss something. And again, that's why, we think building these compliance matrices is crucial. And this is a very good one. And I remember this solicitation, Amanda. This was like a giant. I think this thing had 7 attachments and a solicitation document itself that was like 80 pages long. So, I mean, how long would you say you spend on building these compliance matrices on average?
It depends on the length of the solicitation. This one took a couple hours, but it was, I believe, 150-page solicitation. So we broke it down into one palatable section. And then you're able to actually give people in your team responsibilities. So there's a checks and balances to the entire process too.
Yep. And, some clients like to work in Google Docs, and we can build it either in Excel or in Google Docs. Google Docs is just a really nice way to kind of collaborate on these things and makes it very easy. So, we would work with you in whatever system that you use to build these and make them useful for you and your team. Now, we also offer proposal support, because if you're just a one-person shop or you've got a small team, you might find that you need to hire proposal developers. We can hit that for you as well. And again, if you've got a real hot opportunity that you're very well qualified for, don't leave it to chance. It's worth investing a little bit in a professional proposal writer to work with you and get that done. All right, let me show real quick, Amanda. I'm going to tee up the pipeline, and then you can have a chance to get the really cool pipeline that you build, and we're going to walk through that first. So again, okay, on to our next lesson. Let's show you what a simple government contract pipeline looks like and tell you how you can build one yourself. So, okay, so that was a really quick exchange, Amanda, but tell me, please, why, first of all, and then you can share your screen and walk us through it.
So once you're looking on GovShop and you're finding these opportunities, you're following them, now you have to have a way internally to prioritize them. Which ones are you bidding on? You need to be able to put the information all in one spot so that you can properly evaluate all the requirements. Mm-hmm. So we use it's an online service. Trello is what we've been using.
And it's free, right? I mean, it's free to build a Trello board.
It is.
Yeah. And this is what it looks like. This is an awesome, by the way, you are a Trello wizard. I have worked in Trello and I can't get nearly this advanced. So I can't wait for you to show everybody kind of how you build these pipelines using Trello.
It's very comprehensive. So one of my favorite things is being able to put documents mm-hmm. in these, I guess we'll call them cards.
Yep.
So we're uploading any of the important documentation that goes along with the solicitation. Milestone dates are huge, as we mentioned earlier. This one actually came with a breakdown of the different dates. So everyone in the team's able to see what's going on. Can
I ask real quick, can you go back to that, by the way? Because one thing that just drives me crazy about looking at opportunities on betasam.gov or anything else is the fact that if you want to see what's in a PDF, you have to download it and then open it on your screen. But when we put these into the Trello cards, you get this nice preview, which is huge. I mean, it's such a time-saving thing. And I'm just appreciative that they make that possible.
Yeah, you're just clicking and going back. So it's not a bunch of downloads and saving and, oh no, where's that one I was just looking at? And so this one we actually did a matrix for. So I even uploaded the matrix here. Mm-hmm. We created a checklist right in Trello for this one because it did require so many different documents. So as a client is bidding, you complete your vendor registration, you check it off. Down here, you can even assign tasks to folks in your team. You can say, hey, Frank, I need some assistance. Can you review the compliance matrix and fill out the cover pages for me? Frank jumps in, takes care of it, checks it off. It just makes it so much easier. It saves a lot of time and effort. Plus, you're able just to keep track of that compliance. You're able to make sure that you're hitting every single specification that they're asking for.
And you got the start date and the due date. So this thing came out, had a 6-day turn. So it was really important, especially with some of these product bids, that you can identify them quickly, which GovShop Opportunity Matching does, and then really hurry up and validate leads. So you've got, just real quick on the left, you've got all the leads that you would be tracking for this company in that leads column. If you can X out of the card. Yeah. So that's all the, so again, when we support you through GovShop's Accelerator program, that we're going to tell you about in a minute, we will build this for you, and we will pull the opportunities that GovShop matches for you into the lead column, where you can do the validation exercise that we just talked about. Now, if you decide you want to go after it, then you move it over into the pursuit. And then when you submit it, you move it over into the submission. So you really have a good view of everything that you're doing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. Also, you can keep track of other things in here. For this client, wondered if they had any interest or had a supplier for desk shields. We were seeing some opportunities in that area. So perhaps it might be something for them to check into. So we throw a little question on there. Anybody can take a look, answer it. Are they interested in submitting any RFIs, any requests for information from any of the government entities, sort of showing them as the expert in their field. So there's a lot of information we can capture within this Trello board, and it is only as good as the information that's put into it, which is why having someone like myself and Frank with our expertise, we're able to pull that information out and get it all in one place.
Phenomenal. Thank you for showing that. That is such a great tool. And I do want to just, again, say, like, you could build that yourself. You can definitely go and build that yourself. You can do all the things that we're talking about, but do you really have the time? Can you run your business? Or maybe your GovCon aspirations are the side hustle today that maybe will, help you be fully financially independent tomorrow. But today, do you have the time? Do you have the time to go in and build that Trello card? Do you have the time to read 5 opportunities a week and validate them? I'm guessing that you probably don't. And that's why we want to invite you to our bootcamp exclusive, this GovShop Accelerator program. If you are ready, if you are committed to invest in your GovCon business, we can help you get there. If you go forward, and again, opportunity, this is limited. This is an exclusive. We can't take everybody who wants to join, but if you're really there, and if you really want to do this, you will get qualified opportunities. You will get a viable and manageable business opportunity pipeline in that Trello version that Amanda just showed you. You will write compliant proposals. You will find prime and subcontracting success. And all you have to do is sign up. We'll give you the opportunity matching through GovShop that we showed you. We'll do the pipeline. We'll every week go through and curate opportunities for you so that you can see in that column on the left that Amanda was showing what's available. And if you decide you want to pursue something, we'll write a compliance matrix up to 2 a month in this current package. And then if there's something that you really don't want to mess up on or you need support, we'll offer you ad hoc proposal support at $75 an hour. That's in addition to your subscription, but that's still, in terms of the rates that I'm seeing, you try to find a proposal writer for less than $200 an hour, send them my way because we'd like to talk to them. So again, this is the opportunity, the GovShop Accelerator program for the boot camp. This is what you get. It's $1,500 a month. And again, limited seats are available. We're going to service this on a first come, first served basis. If you're interested, We do need you to complete a pre-screening survey because we want to make sure this is a good fit for you and a good fit for us. But if you get through the application, we'll get in touch with you with more details on that $1,500 a month package. And we really hope you'll consider it, because I think, again, if you're serious, you've come this far, if this is going to be your year for winning government contracts, we will help you get there. We have proven success in this market. We have clients that have won government contracts, and you will too, but it's not going to be easy, and it does require investment. So that's what we wanted to go through today. You can drop me a line, frank@publicspendforum.net. You have my email address because I've been sending you an email a week for the last 10 weeks. Reply, I'll send you the pre-screening survey, and you can get through that. And then, like I said, if you're a good fit, we'll reach out and we'll help you understand and put a package together that can get you on your way to winning government contracts. So thank you for your time today. Amanda, thank you especially for hopping on and going through this with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Frank.
You got it. All right, everybody. Look out in your inbox. I'll probably be sending you an email with this information and a link to apply for this exciting opportunity. Now let's go win some government contracts. All right. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.